This week on Dean Partridge's Canadian Whitetail.
Going in to check out a new spot after another wide 5, so it's still fairly cool out, so hopefully they're moving early again. That was a big deer. He was the first one in of the night, and that's the one we came to sit for.
Last week on Canadian Whitetail, we rebuilt one of our plots to include new food sources for later in the season. We cut the existing alfalfa and set up for a buck that Mike Sutherland wanted to hunt that we had nicknamed the Tipped Out 5.
There's a buck out there. That big guy sure is liking those bees over there. I think one of those bucks out there is our deer, but he's too far out and we're losing camera light fast, so we'll have to try again tomorrow. Looks like he's making his way over here.
After several encounters with the Tipped Out 5 all season long, it finally looked like Mike was going to get his opportunity at a shot when the Tipped Out 5 made his way across the plot. But this is where the dream turns to a nightmare. And there walks away a summer of hard work and scouting and hours upon hours of time in the stand.
Well, that's not really what we wanted, eh? Oh well. Doesn't look too scared. He'll be back.
The Tipped Out 5 being back depends on one thing, what he thinks he saw. If he knows that he spotted them, it's over. If the deer spooked from the wind and doesn't know what's up, there may be hope. Maybe. It's hard to be so close yet lose that opportunity. And we weren't surprised in the coming days and weeks to learn from our Spy Point trail cameras that the big Tipped Out 5 had shut down all daylight activity on the property and was only visiting our plot now in the dark. With days left in the season, there was no time for a rework or time to adjust our setup. But with Jason and I having to leave for a few days to film another hunt, Mike was quick to remember Jason sitting in his stand in his absence.
Sorry, Mike.
And with us gone, that left the blind that Jason had been hunting most of the fall open, and Mike was headed in. The blind that Mike is talking about is a spot that we had set up earlier in August, and set up very strategically for Jason to hunt a big old 5x5 that we had ages of history with. We had been fortunate enough to watch the deer for an incredible 7 years, and everything had to be just perfect for Jason to have any chance of success. However, as mentioned, with Jason now gone for a couple of days, and the Tipped Out 5 that Mike had been hunting now spooked, Mike had one day to hunt this blind for the buck that over the years we'd only had 3 encounters with. Welcome back. With his target buck spooked and it now being too late in the season for a rework, Mike's headed into Jason's blind for his one chance at the buck that we called the wide 5.
Going in to check out a new spot after another wide 5, so it's still fairly cool out, so hopefully they're moving early again. Get a look at them. We got a wind coming kind of across the face of the blind blowing into the trees there. And this deer likes to come out of that corner over there and walk across and come along the edge of the trees here. So gotta rely on this ozonics to cover our scent if he does come in that way.
Well, Jason was in sitting for the big tiptoe 5 a couple times while I couldn't sit, so he's gone up north hunting right now, so figured we'd sneak into his spot and sit for the deer he's been hunting for a while. Be kind of funny if it works out for us.
Well, the deer that Mike is joking about is no joke at all. He's a deer that we've watched and filmed for the past 7 years. And in those 7 years, we've had a mere 3 encounters with him. He's as legendary as they come, and even harder to pattern. Simply called the Wide 5, our first encounter with him while hunting was with my wife in 2012. Impressively wide with great tines and long beams, he was a deer that dreams are made of, and that anyone would be proud of. That night, we made the incredibly hard decision to roll the dice and let him walk, hoping that he would survive just one more year. Our roll was lucky and he survived until the next year, and we were able to have another encounter with him. However, he was out of range and simply turned to walk away, not showing himself again in 2013. We were truly blessed to watch this deer starting back in 2008 and watch the Wide 5 grow and develop over the years, and each of those years growing bigger with longer beams and taller tines, and watch him take his place as a dominant deer in the area, while at the same time accepting that based on the history with the deer, that this was very likely a buck that we would never get a shot at, now in his prime in 2014.
You're watching Dean Partridge's Canadian Whitetail, North America's premier wild whitetail show.
Welcome back. After losing his opportunity on his first target buck, Mike was back out and set up on the big 5x5 that we had 7 years history with, but very few encounters. Now there was a very low chance of success, but little did Mike know the role that he'd have in this legendary deer's life, and how quickly he'd be called to duty.
Got our first deer of the night up there. I think that might be it.
The first and only 2014 daylight encounter with the Wide 5 was coming in Mike's first couple of hours in the blind. Walking with his head listed to the right like he had for the previous 3 years, likely from an injury. What a sight it was to see the legend himself making his way down the timber's edge. Aware of everything in his surroundings, the Wide 5 swings downwind of the blind before coming to the edge of the field, as we had suspected he would. Stopping to survey and check the wind, this is when all the setup details, the ozonics use, and the preparation matter. The Wide 5 stops one more time to triple check that all is okay. and commits to entering the field. 7 years of history, hundreds of hours of work, scouting and preparation, all plays out in the next few seconds.
That was a big deer. He was the first one in of the night, and that's the one we came to sit for. Shot looked a little far back, but we'll have a look at the footage and go check the arrow and see if we can find him, I guess.
Oh, there's lots of blood on it anyways. Found the arrow. It's better blood than we thought, I guess, but we don't want to push him tonight, so we'll let him bed down and come back and look for him tomorrow. Hopefully it works out.
A marginal shot, the absolute worst thing that every hunter will have to deal with at some point in their life. And after that shot, we must have reviewed the footage likely 100 times, and we couldn't all come to an agreement on whether or not the shot was in the lungs or too far back. The opinions were so close, and with the doubt present, Mike did the absolute right thing and stuck to his gut feeling to leave that deer overnight and not risk a worst case scenario of a poor hit and pushing the buck.
Welcome to this week's Canadian Whitetail Scouting segment. Locate, learn, set up, hunt. Brought to you by Big & J Long Range Attractants. The aroma is super strong. The range is super long.
It doesn't matter what you do. You can't just take any given deer and turn it into a giant. But there's certain things that you can do to help that deer reach its full potential. Everybody's noticed before extremely poor horn growth after either a bad winter or a very dry spring. And that's because when that deer comes through those hard winter months, until his body is back to 100%, his antlers get nothing. And that's where you can help. You can help that deer maintain its nutrition over the winter. And in the spring with minerals and supplements, you can help that deer get back to 100% and recover from the winter faster, which is going to promote and increase his horn growth. Early spring and summer mineral stations are a great way to introduce these supplements to the deer. Always the first thing is to select a quality attractant or supplement. Pick a well-traveled area on your property and start by clearing away all the dead grass and leaves from the mineral site. Take a shovel or a rake to prepare the bed for the mineral. Spread your mineral liberally over the exposed dirt, and then use your rake or your shovel to mix it back in. And that mineral site should now last you for a couple of months. It's very seldom that we'll put just one mineral station on any given property because each property is different and the soil has different characteristics. And the deer will inherently be drawn to the mineral that contains what they need the most, what the soil might be lacking. So in each of our properties, we'll usually put a couple of different mineral stations using a different product, just to give those deer that option. Again, pick a location of heavy travel away from your original mineral station. Again, clear the soil, spread your mineral or supplement evenly over the exposed area, and then work that mineral or supplement back into the soil. You'll notice I said quality minerals and supplements, and that's because there's a lot on the market, and there's a lot of people that use different kinds of salt just from the local farm supply company. But the local farm supply company doesn't make minerals and supplements for deer. There's companies like Big & J that do, and we choose Big & J because it's not only a good mineral and a supplement, it's also a good attractant, so we can use it all year long for different purposes. Again, in the wild, you can't just create a giant out of any given deer, but you can definitely have a direct influence and help those deer in that area you hunt reach their maximum potential by providing them with the minerals and supplements that they need, especially in the spring and early summer months. And that's your Canadian Whitetail Scouting segment for the week.
This week's Canadian Whitetail Scouting segment has been brought to you by Big & J Long Range Attractants.
Unfortunately, when Mike took the shot, it was less than perfect. So we made a call. We left the deer overnight. We came back the next day here and we're looking for him. We've been pounding the bush all day. So there was very little sign, and just by fluke, I happened to be coming down the fence line here. And I was looking around looking for a sign. All of a sudden I look over, and there, sticking up out of the grass behind the log, is Mike's buck. So now we've just waiting for Mike to show up and surprise the happy hunter. Here comes Mike. We're about to make his day. Well, find anything?
On the bed, back about 100 yards, just a little bit of blood, but that's it. No body.
Nothing else, eh?
How about you?
Yeah, I did find something.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What'd you find?
Your deer, he's right there.
Kidding?
No, I'm not kidding.
Wow.
Let's go look.
Look at that.
Ain't he something, eh?
That's a beautiful deer, that is.
Look at the mass on him.
Just huge.
Wow. Fantastic. I'm glad we found him, man, because
Me too.
he took us for a bit of a jaunt, all day, and we were right at the end of the day, just happened to be in the right place at the right time and look in the right spot at the right time, and there he was. Wow. Wow. He's a smoker, Mike. Congratulations,
Sure
buddy.
is.
Hey?
Thank you.
He's old mature deer that got lots of history. We know him really well. And you got yourself a real good trophy here, buddy.
He's a beauty.
He is. Oh, congratulations again.
Thank you, Steve.
The paths that we take on a hunt can be a lot like life. We may have a plan or a route that we think we're going to take, but those plans are often trumped by a higher power that leads us on his own plan. When that happens, we learn more, become more adaptive, and in the end it all seems to make sense. Congratulations, Mike, on taking a truly legendary whitetail of unmeasurable proportions. My name's Dean Partridge, and thanks for watching this week's Canadian Whitetail.
Exclusive content. Follow Dean and the team on Facebook, as well as on Instagram and Twitter, @WhitetailDean. For Canadian whitetail gear and apparel, visit CanadianHuntShop.com.